The Bafang M510 with a whopping 95 Nm of power. This is a long-term review. I've been on the VMG for the last year, and we're going to look at how does it ride, how much range do you get, and how does it compare to the other electric mountain bike motors on the market. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and today we are looking at the year-long review of the Bafang M510 with a whopping 95 Nm of power. And if you've seen my long-term review of the VMG, I did it about a year ago, I was impressed with the Bafang M510, but I also felt it needed some refinements. And over the last 6 months, Chris, the owner of VMG, has spent hours, if not weeks, back-to-back testing and helping Bafang bring the M510 up to a real player in the e-bike world, making it more responsive, smoother, while keeping that peak power and torque. So if you're looking at buying a new electric mountain bike in 2023, you're probably not thinking of a Bafang system. But riders, in 2022, Bafang made over 2 million units, making them one of the largest electric motor manufacturers in the world. The Bafang M510 was released in June 2021, 95 Nm and 600 watts of peak power, and coming in at 2.9 kilos. Available in a wide range of battery options, and in the VMG, I've been testing the whopping 840 watt-hour battery. And appearance-wise, the M510 is a good-looking unit, and it comes in, as I said, 2.9 kilos. It's what you expect the weight and the appearance of an e-bike motor to look like in 2023. And I also want to say, I like how slim the motor is. It just is, I feel, a little bit slimmer than some of the other ones on the market. And now, most importantly, how does it ride? Well, first off, this bike, this motor, this system is so fast and so much fun. And as I said like a year ago when I tested it first off, I felt it needed some refinements. It was a bit jerky and the power delivery wasn't as smooth as I hoped. But as I said, after hours of testing and numerous different firmware upgrades, this bike now is super powerful, super smooth and reliable. It has 5 assistant modes and a walk mode. Now normally I find 3 assistant modes enough, but on the M510, because it has so much power, I really do enjoy the whole 5 assistant modes. The M510 likes to be in higher cadences, around like 75 to 110 RPM, and it pulls the hardest with its 95 Nm of power. And if we're going to compare it to another motor on the market, I'm going to say it definitely feels very Bosch-like. I don't think it's a super natural feeling motor, but definitely it has a lot of power and a lot of torque. And also riders, if you want to do a bit of tuning, you can do some tuning on your computer, and in the near future you will be able to do it via the Bafang app, so you'll be able to tune your motor on the fly. And also want to mention the overrun. This thing has about 1 meter to 1.5 meters overrun, which is awesome for technical climbing. And how noisy is the M510? Well, it's not the quietest motor on the market, but at the same time it's not annoying. It kind of makes like a bit of a jet engine noise. And we're going to go out now and do a bit of POV, and you can listen to all the assistant modes. Okay, so now we are out doing POV on the Insta360 X3, and we are right now in Eco. And it's, you know, reasonably steep climb, and that's the sound. Then we're going to go into Trail. And now we're in Sport. And now we're in Sports Plus. And now we're in Boost or Turbo. So as you see or hear, it's not an annoying sound. It does sound a little bit like a jet engine. And before we finish off this sound test, I'm just gonna give you like the real world experience for me. I've really enjoyed this motor system. Like it is really powerful. As I said, it's not really natural feeling. Like it doesn't take a lot of rider input, but I like it. You know, it's just fun. Like if you're looking for like a motor just to like loop up and down downhills, and you know, with loads of power and good range, and good pricing, The M510 is an absolute beast. And when the climbing's all done and you're ready to point it downhill, the motor does have a clunk or a rattle, and that's similar to what you'd find in a Shimano EP8 or a Bosch motor. It's impossible to do an e-bike motor review without talking about range, which I think is one of the most, if not the most important part when testing an e-bike motor. And I'm happy to say that the Bafang M510 paired with the 840Wh battery passed with flying colors, getting over 34 Ks and 1,462 vertical meters of climbing. And let me break that down even further for you riders. This was an extreme range test where I put the motor in the highest assistant mode and looped my favorite downhill. Now clearly, if you put in more work yourself and use less assistance from the motor, you're gonna get more range and more vertical meters climbed. And I hear you riders say, hey Sam, how does it compare to all the other electric mountain bike motors on the market? Well, I'm gonna say when it comes to power, it's definitely as powerful, maybe a little bit more powerful than all the competitors. And sound-wise, it's definitely not the quietest. It's probably around like a Bosch sort of sound. And the rattle, definitely like a Shimano or a Bosch. And range-wise, range you're gonna get, as I said, 1,462 with an 840Wh battery. Now, you'd expect to get the same from a Bosch, a Bros, and a Yamaha or a Sync Drive with a 750Wh battery. So this is a little bit thirstier, but at the same time, the 840Wh battery is coming in, I believe, at 4.3 kilos, so you're not gonna have a problem with range. I think the M510 can definitely play with the big boys, and I would be happy to race this at the EWS. It's definitely a race-ready motor. So you're probably asking, what bikes can I get the M510 in? Well, right now, there's not that many on the market, but the VMG, if you're looking for an enduro electric mountain bike, this thing's sensational. If you see how this bike's built right now, we've got EXT suspension, we've got Zeb Ultimas, we've got Magura MT7 brakes, we've got obviously Schwalbe tires, and this bike in this build is coming in under 6,000 euros, which I think represents very good value. And also Vitus just released their new electric mountain bike for 2024. Well, it's a prototype. They released it at Sea Otter, and it is using the M510, and it does look awesome. And I think in the near future, we're gonna see a lot more mainstream brands using the Bafang M510. And it's not all gravy, the things I have not enjoyed about riding the M510 this year. Look, first off, you've got to take the key with you the whole time. I would love to see like a 4 or 5mm Allen key to take the battery out. And also, the remote, it is nice and it does work very well, but it does feel a little bit plasticky and it is a little bit sensitive. And on the display, there's 2 plugs that don't actually have like a clip or anything to push into. And when I was transporting the bike in the car, once or twice, those plugs came out, never on a ride. So I'd like to see like a different connector, something like the Shimano EP8 that kind of clicks all the way in. That would be great. And as much as I really enjoy the 5 assistant modes, I think it would be great if they had an automatic mode in there. And also the overrun, I loved it for the technical climbing. Now, if it was technical switchbacks, I would love if you could tune it to not have the overrun sometimes, and maybe they'll put that in the future. And we're coming to the end of the video, and riders, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've learned something, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment on this video. It really does help out with those algorithms. And now onto the million-dollar question, would I buy the Bafang M510 today with my hard-earned cash? I'm gonna say bloody oath, it's a fantastic system. Bafang have definitely knocked it out of the park here. I think it's definitely up there with all the other majors on the market. And I also think we're gonna see a lot more of these in the near future from major brands. And this is only a good thing because we're gonna see the entry point of these mountain bikes coming down a little bit lower. We're gonna get more people out loving this sport that we all love. And riders, there you go. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that video. And like always, if you have any questions on the Bafang M510 or the VMG or any other electric mountain bike on the market, hit me up. I'd love to help. And you stay safe out there, and we're gonna see you next week.